Whoa, what was that? Bird is screaming. Look up and you climb down. Yeah, they did like 20 damage. No, this sounds like a huge move. Down there.
Come on, Francis!
You can't get up. She's right there, Gator.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
Oh. I did about 100 damage.
Oh yeah. No way.
Francis died from it. You know safe room yet? No. The door's behind you. You shut the door. Inside this place. You have a hotel. Hotel. No! The hotel. There. You know the hotel.
You don't have to tell me that. Get home. Oh, you got out.
What's that there? Safe room. The big red door behind you. Yeah. Close the door. Press X.
I got feelings.